Good afternoon, my name is Thomas Kostenko. This is MGMT312 and I'll be doing my PowerPoint on leadership theories and approaches. As I mentioned before, I prefer to do it over video instead of speaker notes. So let's get into it. So in the table of contents, we're going to talk about 1, the introduction, what makes a great leader. 2, the traits theory and the skills theory, situational theory, and path approach. And then the reference at the very end. I won't be explaining that though. Introduction. So we talk about what makes great leaders. Great leaders come from all different types of backgrounds and career fields and all those types of things, and they're all born different, not born as hypothetically born as leaders. How are they developed and how are they advanced to different levels and all that type of things. So the first leadership theory we're going to talk about is the traits theory. The trait theory of leadership links specific characteristics in which a successful leader obtains. This originally proposed by Thomas Carlyle in the mid-1800s, and this focuses on that leaders are born rather than made. Effective leaders can mobilize specific traits such as energy, desire to lead, confidence, and general intelligence, all of which allow the task to be completed promptly. One of the strengths and weaknesses depend on the individual's ability to adapt and continue to perform at high levels. As one of the oldest and most researched theory, it has a lot of great data that'll back it up. With leaders born and not made, the theory allows the distinctive analysis to identify a leader in a timely fashion. For example, if somebody is born as a leader, it's easier to identify him because everybody knows he was born as a leader. The main issue with a natural born eccentric leader is a lack of consciousness. For example, if a natural leader is leading a bunch of employees, but the leader has no idea that his leadership is guiding the company in the wrong direction, he doesn't have the consciousness and abilities to be able to change his ways. In general, the trait theory leaders may not be considered the followers or the employees in modest terms. Performance and employee satisfaction are a few of the weaknesses of the trait theory. Trait theory is best utilized to decipher an individual's abilities and characteristics. For example, we talk about career fields. A really great description would be a phone company that has 15 different departments, and each department specializes in a different task. So, for example, the phone company is trying to hire a new employee, and they know that from the traits theory that this employee is very good at programming. So obviously, they're going to put that new employee into the programming department. Not only does this raise work morale, but it also increases efficiency at the work and the overall job satisfaction. Next, we're going to talk about the behavioral theory. The behavioral theory idolizes a leader's behaviors and attitude compared to the natural abilities presented with the traits theory. In a nutshell, this basically means that the behavior of the leader affects the followers. If the leader has a good mentality, this essentially filters down into the followers and allows them to be able to increase their work efficiency and work morale. The scientific theory is a product of the behavioral studies. Behavioral theory scopes in an individual's daily life, such as attitude, emotions, and actions. According to Deru Nergang, leadership behaviors are exposed of task-oriented behaviors, related-oriented behaviors, and change-oriented behaviors. So again, emotions, your attitude, and your actions. The behavioral theory is one of the strengths of the behavioral theory is that it can be taught and developed on. Compared to the skills approach, where the skills approach, you're a natural born leader. You're not made. The behavioral leader focuses on progressive training, and this allows natural born leaders to be able to develop into the even better leader if they are able to. As further research and development has been completed on the behavioral theory, it has allowed the expansion of potential ideologies. One of the behavioral theory's biggest flaws is the lack of conceptual skills and individual abilities to grasp and learn the developed traits. For example, a leader can be put into a behavioral theory's leadership program that trains them through progressive training and focuses on them and all that stuff, make sure they know every single piece of important leadership trait and skills and all this stuff. But that doesn't mean that the leader is going to be able to keep up with that information to stick and be able to perform as that leader. So that's one of the biggest flaws with the system. The behavioral theory is commonly used in workplaces and career fields that require high performance in stressful situations. For example, a firefighter recruit is trained on employing leadership and dealing with stressful situations. Not only does the training benefit the firefighter recruit, but the organization and the employees. as all the firefighters, once that firefighter recruit makes it through training, they rely on him every single day with their lives. Next, we're going to talk about the skills theory. Unlike the behavioral theory, abiding against a natural born leader, the skills approach idolizes leaders born with leadership skills. The skills approach is one of the most famous theories, allowing natural born leaders to develop their capabilities further. With such a diverse and opinionated views on all theories, the skills approach has a few different proposed models, including Robert Katz in 1955. The second approach is proposed by Michael Mumford and colleagues in the year 2000. While both of these models are fairly similar, each offer significant differences. The Mumford model concentrated on the outcome, prior experiences, and environmental aspects, and the Katz model focused on conceptual and technical skills. The skills theory has allowed generations of leaders to develop inborn characteristics and help create a better leader. The strengths of a skills theory leader are to build structure through progressive training and incorporated components. Not only does this allow leaders to better themselves, but connect on a different level of management. Mumford's model expresses the importance of prior experience and how learning from mistakes is crucial to prior development. Again, as leaderships develop in this skills theory, you have to be able to learn and be able to take that chip off your shoulder and be able to develop as a leader to progress in your training. For example, leaders train to develop. If they don't have the basic conceptual leadership skills, they're not going to be able to develop, right? Like I said before, they need to be able to perform at conceptual, technical, and progressive levels of training constantly. Lastly, not all leaders are made the exact same, thus training and development aren't efficient for all individuals. As mentioned before in the behavioral theory, just because a leader is trained on it does not mean that it's going to stick. The career field that would most likely see the skills theory of leadership would be a management company, as the skills theory focuses on training inborn leaders and simultaneously train those to perform a high level. For example, there's a brokerage firm, and the brokerage firm has 10 executives that are retiring within the next year. Well, all of those employees that are one level below are being trained continuously and progressively to be able to fill in those voids in the company. Not only is the company expecting these individuals to perform at the highest level, but the individuals are also expecting the company to be able to put them in the position. The next theory we're going to talk about is the situational approach. Now, the situational approach is very unique and different compared to the skills theory. Situational approach allows an adaptive leadership style that encourages leaders to take advantage of their stock and their members and develop the best leadership style that fits the company, the team, whatever it is. The theory gives leaders the advantage of leading without having natural born leadership capabilities or in a position of power. A lot of flexibility and adaptability, and of course, responsibility. Situational leadership is often seen in team sports, for example, coaching. Some other examples include organizations, work atmosphere, and any other group-related activity. Situational leadership is an adaptive form of leadership that conforms to organizations and environment. The ability to change and become flexible is an advantage for any company or business. This is definitely one of the advantages of the situational approach. When the employees can essentially move around, this allows a company to better excel, and this puts the leaders in a position of power because their employees are given all this room to work because the leadership is saying, hey, this type of leadership works best for you guys, and this allows the employees to expand and grow in an expedited manner never seen before. One of the few disadvantages include the lack of long-term planning, maturity difficulty, and skill level abstinence. The lack of long-term planning is due to the immediate change in leaders pinpointing the exact task or need. Maturity issues occur when the leader cannot differentiate the emotions and professional side of being a leader. For example, if a coach is coaching a team and he says, the type of leadership I'm going to be is I'm going to be a fun leader. I'm going to be able to adapt and figure out what works best for this team. But if he gets caught up in the emotions of the team, he's not going to be able to perform professionally as he should as a coach. The biggest disadvantage is a leader's potential to have skills deficiency. For example, if a leader thinks this is the type of leadership that's best going to work for this team, but that type of leadership isn't actually correct, isn't actually the best one, then not only is it going to affect the team members, but it's also going to affect that leader individually. So next we're going to talk about the path goal theory. Situational leadership mentions that adaptability increases work morale. The path goal theory of leadership focuses primarily on the employee's motivation and satisfaction. This is one we hear more often, especially being 2020. The path goal theory that as long as employees are motivated and satisfied, all the work morale is going to increase, and the efficiency within the work and all the intra coordination is just going to be better in a whole. The theory is specific to the leaders and the individual's overall attitude, decreasing or increasing work productivity. For example, it can go backwards. If the leader is in a bad mood and is a very bad boss, then the employees might have bad work ethic, for example. Unlike other approaches and theories, the path goal idolizes leaders' ability to motivate and empower the employees. All theories have advantages and disadvantages, but the path goal theory is no exception to this, and must be the most useful for leaders who have a solid relationship with their followers. In other words, if the leader has a really good relationship with its employees, this might mean that the employees have a higher chance of performing better at work. If a good leader can guide and clearly motivate individuals, subsequently, the employee's performance will increase. Other advantages include flexibility, use in groups, and well-seasoned and knowledgeable. In the long term, the most important thing is that if the leader is motivating the employees, then that's the main goal here. If the leader has flaws or is unethical in any fashion, the path goal theory won't work. Definitely one of the biggest disadvantages here with the path goal theory. Again, as I mentioned, it can go both ways. If the leader has a bad attitude, then there's no saying whether or not the company is going to be guided in the right direction, because the employees are going to be unwilling to work. The path goal theory is often seen in companies with a large chain of command, for instance, a phone company. The chief executive officer wants to motivate all of the employees, so he's not going to go down to the very low level. He's going to assign somebody to make sure that the work morale is good and that the employees perform at the highest level possible. So the CEO assigns a lower member of the company to monitor and motivate all base level employees. Now this is, like I said, more of a chain of a command example, but it's filtered down from the top to bottom. So a quick overview of the PowerPoint. We'll talk about the traits theory, that leaders are born and not made. This is most often seen in older traditional type of leadership. The Egyptians use it and all that stuff. We talk about the skills theory. What type of skills does a leadership possess that makes them successful? Can they adapt? Are they able to be flexible within a workplace? Then we talk about the situational theory. This is often seen in coaching. What type of leadership style is best going to work for this basketball team or for this small company? And then we talk about the path goal approach. If the leader is motivated, then the employees are more likely to be motivated and eventually increase work efficiency and all that stuff. So thanks for watching my PowerPoint. My name is Thomas Kostenko. This is MGMT312, and I hope you liked it.